What's going on, everyone? So, something that I find interesting that you're starting to see a real pattern of this season is the pairings of various characters, right? For a long time, it was kind of like a hero's journey. Rather, now it seems like it's heroes' journeys, right? That multiple characters are beginning to team up to kind of take on the task or feat that they have ahead of them. Now, there have been moments and times, right? Like obviously, Victor and Tabitha have helped each other out on several occasions, Ethan and Victor, right? But now you're really starting to see, like Victor originally was teamed up with Sarah and trying to go and get Jasper, but ultimately ended up teaming up with Henry. They end up achieving and getting Jasper. But now you're starting to see other characters kind of follow suit, kind of follow the same trend, right? We see in the look ahead that Julie and Randall are now teaming up and they're trying to get answers because, they're the two that are broken in their heads. Now, Marielle, she seems to be coping. She seems to be kind of, Randall and her kind of had that moment. And he even said, like, you can just pretend like, I know what you're feeling. I know how your mind is kind of broken because I'm feeling this way, and the justification was kind of like, well, okay, I guess because you have Christy, but I'm all alone now, right? And now he's kind of moving in to the clinic area so that way he doesn't have to be alone. Marielle even relays like, no one should have to be alone in this place. And, then Julie goes and teams up with Randall and, they shows the pot and like, hey, let's do this. So I imagine that they're going to kind of use each other to cope. I think that they're going to use each other to kind of help get over this issue, but also now go on their own journey to try to get some answers, try to get some explanations. And you even see in the look ahead trailer that Julie goes, don't you feel it? Like, can't you sense it? Right. And Randall's kind of like, let's get out of here type thing, which is understandable considering the condition that he's in. But further highlights that you're seeing these characters no longer going on these journeys alone, but actually working together to kind of help with these journeys. Jade and Tabitha seem to really be teaming up and seem to really be working together to kind of get answers. Jade kind of feels like, he's doing his own journey, but he's kind of using Tabitha to get the answers and kind of more of a tag along than like a team up. But now Ethan is helping Jade, which I'm curious to see if Ethan... I actually think Ethan is going to be the one that kind of solves the puzzle, right? So, like, for example, Jade, we saw, like, when he was trying to figure out the electricity issue for, the big speaker, right? Like, when they were trying to get the radio working. And Tian said something, and he, boom, like that light bulb went off, right? I can see Jade kind of working with Ethan, just in good spirit, just trying to, keep Ethan occupied, so because he keeps trying to like go off on his own thing and do his own thing and stuff, try to kind of keep him focused, keep a task at hand. And I actually think that is purposeful. I don't think it's going to lead to just like, oh, let the kid play. Ethan is very knowledgeable, and a lot of things that he has said that kind of seem like throwaways are turning out to be kind of key clues, right? Like even things like where in the first where he talks about the hero's journeys and all that stuff, but you've seen things like that come to fruition, right? Like you've seen, character like Boyd, for example, goes out to the forest and explores things, comes back with the talismans, finds food, right? Jim and Kenny, they go out and come back with food, right? Now, I do think that was also through sacrifice, through Tian, but you see, like, there are these sort of hero journeys going on, and I could see Ethan kind of, saying something through maybe a story or a book, right? Like when the music box, right? It was something, a story told as a kid. Like, it's just this kind of random, like, how does that have a connect? Like, how does that tie in, right? So I could see something where maybe Ethan recognizes something or sees something and goes, oh, I remember this from like a book or a story or whatever. And then that triggers and kind of unlocks Jade and he's able to kind of figure out some of these numbers or kind of figure out a piece to this puzzle. But you're seeing, again, Ethan and Jade and Tabitha, they're working together. Tabitha's working with Jim. You're seeing them no longer go on these journeys alone as frequent as we saw in the past, where it was just like, oh, let me go off on this adventure. Let me go try to figure out this by myself. Let me go and do this alone, which is what I think is going to be necessary and needed, right? I've said from the beginning, since I started doing these videos, I don't think that one singular person is going to solve the way to get out, if they ever get out, but I think it'll be a collection. And each of these characters are sort of a piece to the puzzle, right? Well, if you have two pieces to the puzzle working together, well, then that just makes the puzzle to solve easily rather than each individual person solving the puzzle. And I think it'll be a collection. It'll be something where, Tabitha has to complete her thing, and Jade has to complete his thing, and Boyd has to complete his thing. And through the collective of these characters are able to kind of unlock and get out and do what they need to do. The real question is, does everybody get out, or is it only the characters that matter? That is something I think is a interesting question to propose in and of itself. But also worth noting, we see Elgin. And I don't think that this is, I think that this is something, but you see Elgin starting to go on his own journey, on his own adventure. And however, he is doing it alone. He is taking his camera, and which is starting to show him details and things that he needs to kind of the breadcrumbs for his journey, where he leads, and it leads him to that cellar. You're going to see Elgin go alone. Now, you could argue, well, he's not alone. He has that spirit that is kind of talking to him and guiding him and helping him. How much is that spirit actually guiding him, helping him, right? Like, how much of that spirit is actually beneficial and not just toying with Elgin and not just leading him down a path that is going to be to his demise or something. But I do think that is something worth noting, that, again, you're seeing all these characters starting to team up and work together and really help each other in a sense, to where Elgin is now going at it alone. Does that have or play any type of significance whatsoever? Now, again, this could just be just through the natural flow of the show. It might mean nothing, not Elgin in particular, but I'm talking about the team ups. I just find it fascinating, and I don't think it's something that should go unnoticed. I don't think it's I think there's something there. There's something that, because again, for so long, so many of these characters were doing things alone. I mean, we've all talked about and expressed our frustration at times how characters don't communicate. Like, characters just don't, kind of keep to themselves. Like, a great example, when Jim gets the phone call about his dead son, and Boyd asks him, like, hey, you okay, what's going on? And instead of being like, well, I just got a phone call from my dead son, he just, this place is getting worse, huh? Like, what? Like, that would have been a great moment and opportunity to actually relay something, which is why, give it up one time for Ellis, man. Because, again, sticking with the team ups, sticking with the, working together, you see Fatima no longer pregnant. Fatima is now going to have to deal with and cope with, her condition and her eating dead vegetables and now potentially dead people, right? I love that Ellis was like, we can't do this alone. We can't ignore this. We can't pretend like things are just going to magically get better. He's like, we have to tell my dad. We need help. And then even in the hospital, Fatima's like, I don't want to tell anybody. I don't want to tell them, right? Unless we absolutely have to and everything. And then Ellis is like, after they find out that she's not pregnant, he goes, we have to tell them. And they're like, tell us what, right? Finally, it's like, God, at least there's somebody in this place that actually is using some common sense here of like, hey, we don't have to do this alone, and nor should we. We should be looking for help. We should be using each other to try to solve some of these puzzles, right? And so I do like that you're seeing, again, even in the team up, but also you're getting away, hopefully, from the lack of communication. Because that's been a running point for so long, just the lack of communication amongst these people, that now they're teaming up and they're communicating and working together on, this group project to try to get out of there. And it's something that you feel like should have been done for so long. But I do think it's a point that is very interesting. Again, it could be nothing, but we've seen that this show just doesn't do things by happenstance, right? There's usually a point. There's usually a reason. There's usually some logic behind why things are happening the way that they're happening. So I imagine that this is something that is happening for a particular reason. But we'll see how this all plays out. But as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you think that this is something? Do you think, it's really nothing? Do you think that there's could be interesting things? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you like this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. It's me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.